क्रोधे स्थितेर्षावता वन्देऽहं तमशेषकारण परं रामाख्यमीशं हरिम्। श्रीराम जय राम ओम 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 जय राम ओम जय राम ओम। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Hari Om. In the last session we had seen Bhagwan Rama convincing Kaikeyi that what she has told him is something that he himself was looking forward to. He tells Dashrath Maharaj also that there is nothing so big about going to this forest. In all ways, good will happen to me. I am looking forward to this, and there is such a great opportunity over here. All 4 Purusharthas will be accomplished by going. If I don't go, then I will miss a great opportunity. That is how Bhagwan Rama is looking at Vanavasa. In spite of his very simple, kind words, Kaikeyi is still the same. She is so harsh. She tells, go and convince Dashrath Maharaj that in his later stage of life, he should not get apayasha. Go and tell him that he should not go back on his words now. But even those words of Kaikeyi, Bhagwan just takes. How? Just like Gangaji takes all different kinds of waters and purifies it. Like that, Bhagwan Rama takes all kinds of things that Kaikeyi is saying. Goswamiji time and again points out this fact as sadhu swabhava. What is the nature of sadhu? He says that is like Bhagwan Rama, who is able to take everything but always be sweet in return. That is his swabhava. After all this has happened, Dashrath Maharaj has slowly started gaining consciousness. Gaining consciousness meaning he is becoming conscious. Okay, he is becoming conscious. And he is doing a very beautiful prayer to Lord Shiva, where he says, Bhagwan, you are Antaryami. You are seated in everybody's heart. Please do something and change Bhagwan Rama's mind, such that he doesn't go to forest. That much you accomplish for me. You are Avadhara Dani, Ashutosha you are. All different indicators he gives for Lord Shiva. So this is where we had seen the power of yantra and power of mantra. Yantra means whatever efforts we put in terms of our own skill set, in terms of the technology which is available. All those things fall under yantra. That is one way to accomplish our work. But there are so many instances where we find our hands are tied. We should not wait for that time. In general, our thought should be, along with yantra, I should take support of mantra also. Mantra means not another very mystic spell or anything. Mantra means devotion to Bhagwan. Only that part. And this, in several places in Puranas, it is pointed out. In the beginning, we start all our projects thinking that I will accomplish it. At some point, we realize, I'm getting crushed under the weight of that thing. I took on with a lot of enthusiasm, but at some point, it became too difficult to handle. This prasanga, if you want to appreciate, we should look at Samudra Manthanam. Samudra Manthanam, all devatas are excited. They say, Samudra we have to chant, we will do it ourselves. We don't need asuras. Bhagavan says, no, both are needed. Go and call them. When they start doing it, or when they decide to start doing it, they say, what are we going to use to churn? They say, bring Mount Meru. Oh, Mount Meru, we will get it. All devatas go, asuras go. They lift it, but the moment they take it in ahead, the weight is so heavy that they start getting crushed under it. So Bhagwan comes with his Garudji and takes that mountain and keeps it. I mean, this is a journey of a jiva. We should not feel devatas got crushed at some point. Time and again, we get reminded that we can do some part. The rest of it, Bhagwan has to do. And for us to make sure that there is no anxiety in that wait phase, that is where comes the depth of devotion. That was the good thing about devatas. They said, Bhagwan, you do it. You decide what has to be done, and we will put forth our effort. Okay, that was this part. And then Bhagwan again comes back and is trying to convince his father now. With his very pure words, he is trying to tell Dashrath Maharaj, don't feel that guilt that you gave these boons, you didn't ask me. You are feeling that because there was no fault of mine. That is why you are feeling it even more. He says, I never had any of these things. I am ready to go to the forest. It is good for me in all ways. So that much we had seen in the last session. Now there are different people in Ayodhya. I mean, Ayodhya only. All Puravasis who are there. They are, having a lot of sorrow, and they analyze why this thing has happened, and everybody blames Kaikeyi. That is one thing, that whatever negative qualities are there, right, they will never get endorsement from Samashti. Negative qualities will never get endorsement from Samashti. Totality for that matter. Individually, everybody might not be able to hold on to Satyam. But they will never endorse Asatyam on a bigger scale. Samashti will never endorse untruth. Individually, they might be unable to hold on to it. But together, they will always endorse truth. So in Kaikeyi's case, it was jealousy you call, or very self-centered, narrow vision. Now, individually, everybody might have it. But as a group, they say, why did Kaikeyi do this? She should not have done this. She has brought a lot of calamity to Ayodhya. That is how they are going to look at this. This is, I think we had seen the literal dohas. We didn't chant it. This is the third doha after 45. Third chaupai after 45. Asa kahi Ram gavanu tabakinha, bhupa soka basa utarunadina. Bhagwan left for Kausalyaji's palace. And moment he came out, he saw everybody there, and everybody came to know about what has happened inside. How was this news spreading? Nagara byapi gai baat sutichi, chuata chadi, janu sabatana bichi. The scorpion, when it stings, that poison which is there, the speed at which it spreads the body. Like that, this news spread in entire Ayodhya. Everybody came to know that Kaikeyi asked these two boons, and tomorrow Bhagwan Rama is going to go to the forest. Okay, and everybody is anxious. Suni bhaye bikala sakala naranari, beli bitapa jimi dekhi davari. How are they anxious? Like a creeper which is there holding on to a tree. The tender creeper, when it sees a forest fire raging towards it, how it will feel anxious? Like that, all Ayodhyavasis felt anxious with Bhagwan Rama going away to the forest. Jo jaha sunai dhunai sira soi, bada bishadu nahi dhiraj hoi. They say this is such a great sorrow to bear. Whoever heard it wherever, they just drowned in sorrow there only. It's not even one person was there who was on Kaikeyi's side. And they couldn't control their emotions. All there. They couldn't speak. Mouth was parched and tears were flowing in their eyes. Sokuna hrudaya samai. They couldn't contain this sorrow in their heart because Bhagwan Rama was so dear to all of them. Manahu karuna rasa katakai utari avada bajai. Previously it was Ananda Rasa in Ayodhya, which was beating the drums. Now Goswamiji says it is Karuna Rasa. Karuna Rasa means emotions which are there. That has as though come as an army and it is beating its drums in Ayodhya. Now, what is the message here for a Vedanta student? That paristhiti can never be varaniya. In English, paristhiti means situation. Situation, to have a calm, good situation is good. Nobody is seeking for trouble, right? But nature of human life is such that situation can never remain the same all the time. So a sadhaka also seeks a good situation so that he can become greater devotee of Bhagavan. He says, Bhagavan, if constantly something is nagging me, then my attention is all, taken away by those things. So please make sure that everything is quietened. Shanti mantra, that is what we chant, right? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, if Shanti mantra only could give Shanti, then why study Upanishad? Right? That is where we could have stopped. We say, no, Bhagavan, the Shanti is such that at least when I study, until that point, you take care of everything. And later give me the strength of this knowledge, give me vairagya, so that I don't depend upon paristhiti. Paristhiti nirapeksha sukham it is. That joy devoid of situations around me. But you should remember, the sadhaka is also seeking good situations. Vedanta is not saying he is not seeking it, but he is seeking it as the means. That part we should remember. Next, we can chant. मिलहि माज विधि बात बेगारी, जहाँ तह देहि कहे कही गारी, तेहि पापिनि बूझ का परे हो, छाई भवन पर पावकु धरे हो, निज कर नयन काढ़ चह दीखा, डारी सुधा विषु चाहत चीखा, कुटिल कठोर कुबुद्धि अभागे, भई रघुवंश बेनु बन आगे, पालव बैठी पेड़ एहि काटा, सुखमहु सो कठाठु दरि ठाठा, सदा राम एहि प्राण समाना, कारण कवन कुटिल पनुठाना, सत्य कहाई कवि नारी सुभाहु, सब विधि अगह अगाधु दुराहु, निज प्रतिबिंब बरकु गहि जाई, जानि न जाई नारी गति भाई, काहन पावकु जारि सक, कान समुद्र समाई, कान करे अबला प्रबल, कि जग कालु न खाई, का सुनाई विधि काह सुनावा, का देखाई चह काह दिखावा, एक कहीं भल भूपन कीन्हा, बरु विचारि नहीं कुमति दीन्हा, जो हठि भयउ सकल दुख भाजन, अबला विबस ज्ञान गुण गाजन, एक धर्म परमिति पहिचाने, नृपहि दोषु नहीं देहि सयाने, सिबिध धीचि हरिचंद कहानी, एक एक सन कहि बखानी, एक भरत कर सम्मत कहि, एक उदास भाय सुनि रहि, कान मूदि कर रद गहि जीहा, एक कहि यह बात अलीहा, सुकृत जाहि यस कहत तुम्हारे, राम भरत कहूँ प्राण पियारे, चंदु चवे बरुअन लखन, सुधा होय विषतूल, सपने हु कबहु न करहि किछु, भरतु राम प्रतिकूल, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। this paristhiti not remaining the same, paristhiti not becoming varaniya, that is one of the main vichara for a mumukshu, main way of thinking for a seeker of moksha. This is what in simple doha they say, dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi. Dukh mein sumiran means what? When pratikula paristhiti is there, that time Bhagwan is remembered. But sukh mein sumiran, sukh mein kare na koi means when anukula paristhiti is there, when conducive situations are there, that time we should remember Bhagwan more. Make ourselves very strong to face any situations. That is how it is. Now all of them are analyzing what has this Kaikeyi done to this Ayodhya. They are saying, Bhagwan, everything was coming together at the right time. Bhagwan Rama was going to be the king, but suddenly he changed everything through this Kaikeyi. Jahan tahan dekhi Kaikeyi gari. Wherever you saw people, everybody was discussing about Kaikeyi only. Why did she have to do this? Ihi pa pinihi bhuji ka pareu chai bhavana para pavaku dhareu. She has done such a wrong thing to this Ayodhya. Just like there was a house which was very shady, very calm, quiet, but it was a thatched house. In that house, she has put fire. And how did she put fire? Through her speech. This is why Agni Devata is presiding deity of speech. It can be like Kaikeyi, this is that chaupai. Chai bhavana para pavaku dhareu. Or it can be like Bhagwan Rama, where it gives lot of warmth, lot of solace. Now they say this Kaikeyi has something called as false hope. Durasha. Durasha means false hope. That is what this Kaikeyi has. Nijakara nayana kadi chaha dikha. Meaning what? If somebody has praised the eyes, this person wants to take out the eyes and then wants to see that eye. He says Bhagwan Rama is like that eye. She wants to take him away from Ayodhya and then wants to get joy out of it. Like that she is having durasha, false hope. Dari sudha bishu chahata chikha. She has let go of amrutam and she wants poison in trade-off for that. Kutila kathora kubuddhi abhagi bhairagu bamsa benu bana agi. She is kutila, means has lot of deceit, harsh, kathora. Kubuddhi, her mind is very twisted right now. She doesn't know what she has to do, what she should not be doing. She is like this forest fire, for this forest of Raghubamsha. She is like that fire. What is she doing? She is cutting the branch on which she is sitting. Palava baiti peda ehi katha, sukamaha soka thatu dari thata. And she wants to erect a structure which is a structure of sorrow. On the twig branch that she is sitting, that same branch she is cutting. And from that wood, she wants to erect another structure which is going to give a lot of sorrow. Similarities, parallels he is drawing. Sada Ramu ehi prana samana, karana kavana kutila panuthana. She loved Bhagwan Rama so much. Bhagwan knows why she has suddenly changed. Why would anybody do this? Who are discussing this? All Ayodhya Vasis, they are discussing. Okay, next Chaupai and the Doha. Before we read that, we should read one more Doha which Goswamiji has written before in Balakanda. Goswamiji says, Je ga vahi yah charita sambhare. Je ga vahi yah charita sambhare, tehi ehi tala chatura rakhaware. He is telling, whenever you study Ramcharitmanas, the speaker has a responsibility, the listener also has a responsibility. What is the responsibility of the speaker? He says, Je ga vahi yah charita sambhare. Means interpret every doha, every leela, every chaupai very carefully. It should be in line with Upanishads. It should be in line with the main teaching of Upanishad and Vedas. You cannot take a meaning which is separate from that. If you do that, then you are the protector of that Manasarovar lake. Tehi ehi tala chatura rakhavare. How will that Manasarovar lake be protected? If you Manasarovar means Ramcharitmanas. If you interpret dohas and chaupais in the right spirit, keeping in line Upanishad mantra. So this is duty of the speaker. What about the listener? He says, Sada sunahi sadara nara nari. Listener also listens with this idea that I have a lot of reverence in Ramayana. Nothing will be said out of place. Nothing will be said such that it is going against Shastra meaning. That adara they have, they will be the right adhikaris. Te surabara manasa adhikari. They are the adhikaris of Ramcharitmanas. So keeping this in mind, we should read the next Chaupai and Doha. You see what little meaning we will see, then we'll come to the implied meaning. Satya kahahi kabhi nari subhav. He says it is very true that nari swabhava is like this. Sababidhi agahu agadu durav. It is very difficult to understand. It is very deep, and nobody can know where this is leading to. Nija pratibimbu baruka gahi jai. One can catch one's own reflection. You can catch one's own reflection. Janina jai nari gati bhai. But nari gati, nobody can know which direction it is led. It is led. Kahana pavaku jari saka. What is it that fire cannot burn? Anything you put in fire, fire can burn. Saka ka jari saka, kana samudra samai. What is it that ocean cannot, swallow? Ocean is so big, anything you put in that, it can take inside. Kana kare abala prabala, kehi jaga kalu na khai. But this narigati is something that nobody can guess. Even kala, it can devour anything. But this narigati you cannot predict. So how would you understand these chaupais? First thing we should understand is, over here Goswamiji is talking about Kaikeyi. He is not generalizing it. It is being spoken about Kaikeyi. Okay, in other places also, wherever it comes, that is where it should be understood. Second is, Swabhava has nothing to do with Deha. Nari Swabhava means what? That mind which is not in tune with intellect. That mind which is not in tune with intellect, you never know where this mind will go. Either that intellect has the right conviction, even if the intellect has right conviction, if mind is not in tune with that, then this, all these lines will fit. Janina jai nari gati bhai means that mind which is not in tune with intellect, that mind you can never know where it will take us. So in that way we should understand. Whenever this chaupais comes, it is not talking about deha. It is talking about swabhava. If you take deha over here, right? In 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan talks about asuri sampatti. And there, whatever he says, he is talking from a male standpoint. Now, does it mean that all asuras are only men? No, it is talking about vritti. Asuri vritti could be in any sharira. It has nothing to do with deha. So that is another way to look at it. And really speaking, whenever Shastras speak, right, they don't even have any consideration for Deha. All of us have studied Tattva Bodha, right? We have seen a little bit. Whenever we study Sadhana Chatushtaya, is it said anywhere about Deha? That who is Adhikari of Vedanta? Adhikari of Vedanta is only asking for Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutva. Now, where did Deha come in between? Right? So Deha is not even included in Sadhana Chatushtaya. It is mainly about Swabhava, it is mainly about the mind. And sometimes we get so caught up, with these discussions. I have seen many great scholars of Ramayana. You give them Ramayana, they will take this chaupai and say this is the main essence of Ramayana. There are so many things. This is just one of it. And we should appreciate it in the right perspective. He is not talking about physical body, because in Sanatan Dharma, the body we have now is only for this Janma. Right? Puranjana was male, he became Puranjani in the next birth. So it is not taking, a particular chaupai out of context and discussing just about it. So the main thing, if you want to appreciate, it is just telling about focus on Swabhava. One should not be like Kaikeyi, whose mind has got stuck on something very small, not ready to let go of it. That mind, you never know where it will lead. That is this Narigati. Okay, now there are 7 types of people who are analyzing. What are they analyzing? Why did this thing happen? So the first one is Artha Shastri. Artha Shastri means what is Artha Shastri in English? Economics, one who is good in that. Artha means, economy, all of that. Ka sunai biti kaha sunava, ka dikhai chah kaha dikhava. This is what Bhagwan promised, what he showed, and what he gave. In marketing, they say bait and switch. You show something and you give something else. He gave us this, the Rajabhisheka. That is what he promised. And now he is giving us Vanavasa. Means that news of Vanavasa, that is what he gave us. Showed us something, gave us something. If he had not shown us that, if he had not shown that thing, then the pain would be less. So suddenly he has switched. Why did he have to do this? Eka kahahi bhala bhu. He said, whatever this king did, Dashrath Maharaj did, that was not good. He didn't think correctly before giving the boons to Kaikeyi. This is how, people who are good in market, they are thinking. Good in Artha Shastra. They are thinking you should promise in the right way. Don't give wrong promises. And later he says, Jo hati bhayahu sakala dukha bhajana. Abala bibasa jnanu guna gajana. He says, it is good to be firm, but if you are stuck or if you are firm about wrong things, that is where it can hurt. Because of his attachment to Kaikeyi, he is not wanting to go back on his words on one hand, and on other hand, he has promised wrong things to Kaikeyi. He has over-promised, and he is having this pride that he cannot go back on his words. So insistence in the wrong place, he says it is not good. This is Artha Shastri. Second one is Dharma Shastri. One who knows Dharma. They say, Eka dharma paramiti pahichane, nupahi dosu nahi dehi sayane. They say, the king is not to be blamed because he is following Dharma. He is, keeping the words of Raghukula. Whatever word he has given, that he is not going back on. So don't blame the king unnecessarily. Some people say that. Munde matir binna. As many minds, that many opinions. Different things. Third one is Pauranika. One who has knowledge of Itihasa Purana. They give examples. They say, king is Dharmajna. Just like great kings like Shibi Raja, Dadichi Maharshi. And the third one is Harishchandra, who went through so many difficulties but didn't go back on his words. Right? Like that is our king. Don't blame him. Third one is Dharmajna. Fourth one is a very different category. They are called as Kuta Nitijna. Kuta Nitijna means they will have some erroneous logic all the time. What do they say? Eka Bharata Kara Sammata Kahi. They say in this whole thing, Bharatji is also involved. He wanted to be the king. That is why he had his mother have this promise or take this promise. So he is also involved. Eka Udasa Bhaya Sunirahi. There are few people who are Udasa Nitijna. Means they have reached such a point, they don't want to comment on anything. They are just sitting by themselves, let other people speak. You'll find this even in political topics or economists who are there. Some topics they won't comment only. And they say, let them others speak. We are not going to say anything. But then there are devotees, bhaktas. They say a very important chaupai. You see this one, huh? Kana mudikara rada gahi jiha. They close their eyes, close their ears, and they bite their tongue. Meaning what? They don't want to say anything. They said they don't want to hear also this thing. Which thing? That Bharatji is involved in this whole thing. Eka kahahi yaha bata aliha. Somebody says this can't be true. Don't say such a thing. Why? Sukrita jahi asa kahata tumhare. If a sadhu purusha is given pain, if a sadhu purusha is said such a thing, he says, all sukruta which is there, all good punya karmas which is there, they will go away. Sukruta jahi asa kahata tumhare, Ramu Bharata kaha prana pyare. Bharatji is so dear to Bhagwan Rama, and Bhagwan Rama is so dear to Bharatji. Even it is possible that moon starts emitting sparks of fire. Moon starts emitting sparks of fire. Amruta can become poison. But Bharatji will never go against Bhagwan Rama. That is the confidence they have. They say, Bharatji can never go that, and don't say such a thing also. If Bharatji hears this, he will not be able to listen to these things, that he wanted the kingdom and so on. What is this part that Sukruta jahi asa kahatu tumhare? In Ramayana, in several places it comes. That when sadhu purusha, their avajna is done. Avajna means insult is done. All punya karmas which are there, they get destroyed. So then does it mean that a sadhu purusha we can insult? I say, no, we should never insult anybody. But the karma phala that comes by insulting sadhu purusha, that is much greater. In general, not insulting anybody. But when sadhu purusha is insulted, sadhu purusha means what? One who has sadhu swabhava. So that karma itself becomes such that it takes away all punya. It is just like when we go on a freeway, right? If you overspeed, you get a ticket. But there are certain special zones where they write fines doubled. Right? Construction zone, fines doubled. So that is like this. General avajna gives results. But sadhu avajna gives more, severe results. This point we see in Purana in several places. Over here only in Ramayana, Goswamiji writes one chaupai later. Sadhu avajna turata bhavani kara kalyana akhila kehani. When Vibhishanji was there with Ravana, he would insult him every day. He had a lot of love, but something good advice he would give, every time he would insult Vibhishanji. And at one point, Ravana kicks Vibhishanji. He says, if you are staying here and you are praising Bhagwan now, why don't you go and join him? So there, Lord Shiva tells Parvati ji, Sadhu avajna turata bhavani kara kalyana akhila kehani. It is not that Vibhishanji cursed Ravana or anything. Just that karma was such that all his punya that was there, that went away. That karma only took away all his punya. From that day, it was as though Ravana was defeated. It is said he was surviving based on Vibhishanji's punya. You must have also heard the story of Gangaji. How Gangaji descended on the earth. There was a king whose name was Sagara. And he was doing some sacrifice where the horse was stolen by Indra. So Sagara, he sends his sons to find that horse. And they go everywhere, the sons of Sagara. And they reach the ashram of Kapil Muni. So Indra had left that horse next to Kapil Muni, who was meditating. So the sons of Sagara, they come and they see Kapil Muni meditating and the horse next to him. So what is their understanding? Even without verifying or anything, they say, look at this Rishi Muni, such a great Rishi Muni, and he has stolen the horse. And with that anger, it is said all sons of Sagara, they get burnt. So in Bhagavatam, it is said, Kapil Muni did not burn them. Their karma, phala came in that way. So that is the chaupai, Sukrita jahi asa sahat kahat tumhare. Means from our side, we should never do sadhu avajna, wherever it is, in family, work, in the surrounding that we live. Any avajna we should not do, and also not hear. Hearing is the first seed which comes, and it just, translates into action. A very important chaupai. The root of this is there in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This chaupai, same mantra is there. And in Tattva Bodha also we saw that towards the later part of Tattva Bodha. Okay. Now others, they are some, prarabdhavadis. They say, Eka bidatihi dushana dehi, sudha dekhai deenha vishujehi. They say all this prarabdha is such that we were shown amrutam, but then we got visham. Like this, everybody is lamenting based on what Kaikeyi has done. Now comes a very beautiful portion. The next 1, 2, 3, almost 3 dohas. The friends of Kaikeyi, whom she loved, and her friends who loved Kaikeyi, they come and try to convince her. They are, it is said, wives of Brahmanas, very revered people whom Kaikeyi herself respected and loved. And they also were very fond of her. So how to advise a friend? Very nice pointers are here. They will come and speak to Kaikeyi now. But one thing we should remember in and through this entire thing is that advice doesn't work. So one part is to give advice. Second part is to insist that my advice should be taken right away. So that they don't do. They give their advice from their side and they leave it. So this is a case where Kaikeyi doesn't listen and they say, this is how Bhagavan wants. They are on their way. And there could be some advice that we give. It might be implemented some later time. There also we should be okay. Not becoming impatient that I told this thing, implement it right away. What is the example? Hanumanji advising Vibhishanji. What did he say? Why are you serving Ravana over here? Ravana is not the real master. The real master is Bhagwan Rama, who will accept you. But Vibhishanji didn't directly drop and go. He waited there. All Lanka Dahan happened. Then when the right time came, he remembered his advice. And he said, I will go. So sometimes advice is not heard like Kaikeyi. Sometimes it is heard and implemented at a later time, like Vibhishanji. Third one is it is implemented right away. There also we should not become proud and take credit. Because it is Bhagwan only who is doing that. So all three we should be ready for. Who is an example of hearing and implementing right away? Jambavanji's advice to Hanumanji. Jambavanji tells Hanumanji, your purpose is to do Bhagwan's work. Sunata bhayam parvata akara. Right when he heard, he became of the nature of a mountain. Took the right advice, did the right thing. So all three are okay. In all three, devotee should be free. Not proud because my advice was accepted right away. I changed this person. Don't be very proud. Not unhappy that, in spite of telling, this person is doing what he wants to do. In particular for a friend. So this Sambandha also we should note. All these are friends of Kaikeyi. So they are going to come and advise her. Let us see now. This is after 48 Doha, second Chaupai. विप्रबधू कुल मान्य जेठारी, जे प्रिय परम कैकई के रे। लगी देन सिख सीलु सराही, बचन बान समला गही ताही। भरतुन मोहि प्रिय राम समाना, सदा कहूँ यहु सब जगु जाना। करहु राम पर सहज सनेहु, केहि अपराध आजु बनु देहु। कबहु न कियहु सब तियारेसु, प्रीति प्रतीति जान सबु देसु। कौसल्या अब काह बिगारा, तुम जेहि लागी वज्रपुर पारा। सिय की पिय संग परिहरिहि, लखनऊ की रही धाम। राजू की भूजब भरतपुर, नृप की जियहि बिनु राम। अस बिचारी उर छाड़हु, शोक कलंक कोटि जनि हो। भरत ही अवसि देहु जुबराजो, कानन काह राम कर काजू। नाहि न राम राज के भूखे, धर्म धुरी न विषय रस रूखे। गुर गृह बसहु राम तजि गेहु, नृपसन अस बरु दूसर लेहु। जो नहीं लगी हूँ कहे हमारे, नहीं लागी ही कछु हाथ तुम्हारे। जो परिहास की कछु होई, तो कहीं प्रगट जनावहु सोई। राम सरिस सुत कानन जो, काह कहीं सुनि तुम कहु लोभु। उठहु बेगी सोई करहु पाई, जेहि विधि सो कुकलंकु न साई। जेहि भांति सो कुकलंकु जाई, उपाय करि कुल पालहि। हटि फेरु राम ही जात बन जनि बात दूसरी चालहि। जिमि भानु बिनु दिनु प्राण बिनु तनु चंद बिनु जिमि जामिनी। तिमि अवध तुलसीदास प्रभु बिनु समुझिनो जिय भामिनी। सखी न सिखावनु दीन है, सुनत मधुर परिणाम हित। ते कछु कानन कीन है, कुटिल प्रबोधि को परी। उतरु न देई दुसहरि सरूखी, मृगिन चितव जनु बाघिनि मुखी। व्याधिय साधि जानी तिन्ह त्यागी, चली कहत मति मंद भागी। राजु करत यह देव बिगाई, कीन्ह सियस जस करई न काई। एहि विधि बिलपहि पुर नर नारी, देहि कुचालिहि कोटिक गारी। जरिहि विषम जरलेहि उसासा, कवनि राम बिनु जीवन आसा। विपुल वियोग प्रजा अकुलानी, जनु जलचर गण सुखत पानी। अति विषाद बस लोग लोगाई, गए मातु पहि राम गोसाई। मुख प्रसन्न चित चौगुन चाऊ, मिटा सोचु जनि राखे राहु। नवगयंदु रघुबीर मनु, राजू अलान समान। छूट जानि बन गवनु सुनी, उर अनंदु अधिकार। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय. Goswamiji is highlighting several things over here. Elaboration that we will not find in Vedantic text. Elaboration of that you find in Ramcharitmanas. In Vivek Chudamani, Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes, what is the effect of tamoguna? Effect of tamoguna, he says, Vyalidhas tamasana vetti bahudha. Vyalidhas tamasana vetti bahudha. Sambodhitopi sputam. In spite of being told very clearly, one who has tamoguna clouding the mind, that person will not understand. So now Kaikeyi's friends are going to give a lot of logic. They will try to make her understand, just recognize the consequences of your action. And anybody who listens to this, they will say, that is true, I never thought about this. But Kaikeyi says no. He says that is one of the first indicator of tamoguna. Rajas and tamas getting mixed up. In spite of being told clearly, that person doesn't understand. Second expression of tamoguna is that mind thinks adharma to be dharma. Bhagavan says this in Bhagavad Gita. One who thinks adharma to be dharma. That is second indicator of tamoguna. Third indicator of tamoguna is it gets stuck on something very small and doesn't want to leave it. All three things you see in Kaikeyi. In spite of being told clearly, she doesn't understand. Thinks adharma to be dharma. Bhagwan Rama going to the forest, she thinks very good thing is going to happen with that. And third one is that small thing she's getting stuck with, na vimunchati durmedhaha. That mind which is not ready to leave it, that is tamasic mind. This example you will not find in Bhagavad Gita or Vivek Chudamani. That we find in Ramcharitmanas. How these gunas play. It is only a short time. After this whole Bhagwan Rama goes to the forest, Kaikeyi is a very different person. Why that gunas have changed now? Tamoguna has gone. Little bit of sattva has come up. After Bharatji comes. Because she also goes to meet Bhagwan Rama. And in Goswamiji writes, she is feeling that guilt in her heart. Right? And Bhagwan Rama comes and meets her first. So all of that happens. But this is play of tamoguna mixed with rajoguna. Now her friends are speaking to her. They are like very good friends. Whenever you have to communicate something to your friend and that friend is not listening, first you have to praise that friend. Like how children also will do it, right? Not ready to eat something. So you are such a good boy, right? If you are so good, how can you not eat this? So he also, feels first statement I accepted. The second statement, I have to do it. Otherwise, I have to let go of both. Right? Either I take both or I let go of both. So first they praise her. And these are her friends who are very dear to her. You see what Goswamiji writes? Second Chaupai after 48. Vipra Badhu Kulamanya Jethari. They are the wives of Brahmanas, wives of wise people. And they are very well revered. Je Priya Parama Kaikeyi Keri. They loved Kaikeyi, and Kaikeyi also had a lot of respect and reverence for them. Lagi Dena Sika Silu Sarahi, Bachana Bana Sama Lagahi Tahi. But even though they were trying to give good advice, all their advice looked like Bana. Looked like arrows for Kaikeyi. She is not ready to listen to anything. Bharutuna mohi priya Rama samana sada kahun yah sabu jagu jana. They say, you are so pure-hearted because you only told that Bhagwan Rama is dearer to you than Bharatji. That is what you were, telling until recent times. Now suddenly what happened? They remind her that you were so good, that you loved Bhagwan Rama so much. Now suddenly what happened? Why do you want him to go to the forest? One thing they point out. What is his fault that you tell us? Now regarding all the other co-wives who are there, Kausalya ji, Sumitra ji, they say you never had any jealousy towards them. You never thought ill of them. That was Kaikeyi's nature. You see, they are pointing out the goodness in her and hoping that something clicks and something comes up. Kabahu na kiyahu savati aresu priti pratiti jana sabadesu. And everybody knows this, that you are so good that you had good relations with all others, other queens, Kausalya ji, Sumitra ji. Kausalya abba kaha bigara? Tell me one thing that really that Kausalya ji has done that has affected you. Don't just go by rumors. Don't just go by what people are telling you. Tell me one thing that Kausalya ji has done. Tumajehi lagi bajra purapara, because of which you have put this thunderbolt-like thing on entire Ayodhya. But you see the way in which they are speaking, showing the good side in her and then showing the limitation of how she is thinking. Now they say there are some consequences that you have not thought about. What are they? Siya ki piya sangu pariharihi. If Bhagwan Rama goes to the forest, do you think Sita ji will stay back in Ayodhya? She will also go. Lakhano ki rahahi dhama. Is Lakshman ji going to stay back without Bhagwan Rama? So he will also go to the forest. Raju ki bhujaba Bharatapura. Will Bharat ji rule the kingdom if Bhagwan Rama is not there? Means you have not understood Bharat ji yet. It's a big akshepa. It's a big question on Kaikeyi. He says, do you think that your son, who is such a great devotee of Bhagwan, he is going to sit on the throne because you have sent Bhagwan to the forest? Have you thought about this? And last they say, Nrupa ki jiyahi binu Rama. Will your husband Dashrath Maharaj, will he survive without Bhagwan Rama? Do you even know what you are asking? But we should remember Vivek Chudamani verse. If Tamo Guna is predominant, even if clearly if a person is told, they will not understand. Now they say, think about this and drop your anger. Whatever we have said, just think about it and drop your anger. Don't become the cause of grief and bad name. Entire Ayodhya will drown in sorrow and you will get a bad name which will never be wiped off. So don't become like that. We are giving you good advice. Bharat ji to become your Raja. He says that is okay. If you want, you take that boon, but only make sure that you change your second boon. Bhagwan Rama going to the forest, that part you change. You see, this is a good friend. They have understood where Kaikeyi is. They say, let us meet halfway. We don't want to completely change you, but at least halfway let us meet. Less destruction will happen. Now they also give reason. Why are they telling this? Very beautiful chaupai this is. After 49 Doha, second chaupai. Nahina Ramu Raja ke bhuke. Bhagwan Rama is not hungry for kingdom. Dharma dhurina vishaya rasa rukhe. He is dharma dhurina, means he takes on the burden of dharma. And all vishayas, he has so much vairagya towards them. He is not after this kingdom. Kingdom is a burden for him. And don't be afraid that if Bhagwan Rama is in the forest and Bharatji becomes king, he will interfere in his ruling or anything. That thought you remove from your mind. Then they give another option. They say, you really wanted Bhagwan to go to the forest, right? At least you change your boon to say that let Bhagwan go and stay with his guru. Because guru's house is like forest only. Vasishtha Maharshi or Vishwamitra ji also. They have lived there and their house is like a forest. So even if you change it little bit, everything can be saved. Guru Gruha Basahu Ramu Taji Gehu Nupasana Asabaru Dusarale. Please take that second boon and change it. Jo nahi lagi hahu kahe hamare nahi la gahi kachu haat tumhare. They are good friends, they can give a little bit of, in Hindi they say dhamki. They say, if you don't listen to my words, you will not get anything in your hand. That also we are telling you. We are giving the right perspective. At least listen to our advice. Then they say, sometimes this ego is so strong, If you have said something, it doesn't want to go back on it. I asked for 2 boons. Now how can I go back on 2 boons? They say, if that is your problem, then we'll give a solution for that also. They say, "Jaun parihas kinha kashu hoi, to kahi pragata janam soi." If that is the case, then just tell people that you are just trying to test Bhagwan Rama's love. Previously also she had said, when Manthara comes, she says, "Mo para karihi sanehu biseshi, main kari priti parichha dekhi." Kaikeyi tells Manthara that Bhagwan Rama loves me the most. In this pariksha I have taken before. Pariksha means test. So like how you have tested before, now also just tell people that you are just trying to test Bhagwan's love. Now I am convinced, let us go back on the second boon. That much you do. Or you tell April 1st. I was just joking, some prank I was playing, not something real. That is another meaning. Jo parihasa. Parihasa means I was just playing some prank. It was not something real. Rama sarisa suta kanana jogu, kaha kahi suni tuma kahi logu. Have you even thought what people will speak about you? Everybody will say, is Rama fit for forest? Such Rama you sent to the forest, how will people treat you after they come to know? Already they have started talking. Kaikeyi doesn't know this. She is still inside in that Kopa Bhavan. Utahu begi, soye karahu upayi, jahi bidi soku kalam kunasai. We don't have much time. They say the only person who is capable of changing this thing now is you only. If Bhagwan Rama is already started, he has gone, he is going to reach Kausalya ji very quickly. And if she gives her permission, which she will, after that nothing can be changed. So you quickly reach Kausalya ji's home now and make sure that you tell whatever you have told you. Please save Ayodhya from all this kalanka. Save yourself from kalanka and save Ayodhya from sorrow. Kalanka means bad name. There's a very beautiful line in that Chandas. Jimi bhanu binu, dinu prana binu, tanu chanda binu jimi jamini. How will Ayodhya become without Bhagwan Rama? He says, Jimi bhanu binu dinu. Day without sun. Day without sun. Now, is there a day without sun? Day without sun is like an eclipse day. And on eclipse day, we have so many things that we don't do. Right? They say, don't eat at this time. It's inauspicious. Don't do this. Don't do that. So they are saying Ayodhya will become like that. Means Bharatji will not take anything. He will not even touch that throne. If Bhagwan Rama is sent. Prana binu tanu means physical body without prana. It not serving any purpose. Third one is Chanda binu jimi jamini. Night without the moon. Night without the moon means Amavasya day. Again, very inauspicious, they say. Inauspicious in some context, not the day per se. So like that, Ayodhya will become, make sure that you change your second boon. All these things they point out. Means no beauty will be left in Ayodhya, no purpose will be left in Ayodhya. Who is saying this? Timi avada tulasi dasa prabhu binu samujidhonjiya bhamini. All bhaminis, all the people who are advising Kaikeyi, they are telling this, that if Tulsidas ji Swami, in Bhagwan Rama, he adds his name also in between sometimes. Says Bhagwan Rama, if he is not there in Ayodhya, then Ayodhya will not serve any purpose. Sakina Sikhavanu Deenha, Sunata Madhura Parinamahita. Although all these Sakis, they gave right advice. It was sweet. They gave it in a way that it will not hurt her. They praised her, showed the goodness in her, everything they tried. And how was their advice? Parinamahita. It would have brought her good in the long run. Tehi kachu kanana keenha, kutila prabodhi kubari. Still nothing fell on her ears because she had a very good teacher. Who was she? Kutila Kubari. Kaikeyi, Manthara was there, who had given such strong teaching to her that people will try to change your mind, don't go back on your words. So this is that prasanga where friends are advising each other, or friends are advising one friend. One advice will not be heard, like Kaikeyi. One advice heard, implemented later, Vibhishanji. Third advice heard and implemented right away, Hanumanji. But in all these things, devotee says, I have done the right thing. When it will be accepted, how it will be accepted, that is not in our hands. Okay. Next Monday, we will not have our Ramcharitmanas class. Instead, we will start back with our monthly Shiva Puja. So in person, we will have the Shiva Puja. More details we will announce on this Sunday. You will also receive an email about sponsorships, attendance, the timing, and everything will be mentioned. So I would encourage all of you to come in person. Those who are coming in person to continue to come next Monday also. But those who are online, all of you can come and participate in Shiva Puja. Bhagwan is Avadhara Dani and Asutosha. We should seek his grace and blessings. We'll do our Nama Sankirtan. Akanita Guna Gana Bhushana Rama, Ashrita Vatsala Jaya Jaya Rama, Ayodhyavasi Sita Rama, Apad Bandhava Jaya Jaya Rama, Dasharatha Nandana Shri Rama, Dashamukha Mardana Jaya Jaya Rama, Kausalya Sukhavardhana Rama, Kamita Phalada Jaya Jaya Rama, Papa Vimochana Shri Rama, Patthavi Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Janaki Vallabha Sita Rama, Jaya Raghu Rama, Jaya Sita Rama, Vanara Sevita Shri Rama, Varidhi Bandhana Jaya Jaya Rama, Hanumat Pujita Sita Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama, Raghupati Raghava Raja Rama, Patita Pavana Sita Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Jaya Rama, Siyavara Ramchandra Ki Jai, Satgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.